Hi, I'm CJ Altenberg with Transwest Truck Trailer RV in Frederick, Colorado. So if you got some big horses, we got a really cool trailer behind us here. This is a brand new 2025 Cimarron Norstar. This is a Warmblood 2+1 with air ride suspension. So we're gonna walk you through this trailer. It has a ton of extras on it, but again, if you're in the market for an extra tall trailer because you got big horses, this is one of by far our most popular sellers. A little history lesson on the 2+1s. About almost 11 years ago when I started here at Transwest, we would carry about one of these trailers in inventory. When it would sell, we'd just reorder it. And it was pretty standard. Non-air ride, 4-foot front tack, just a basic trailer. Now that's evolved quite a bit. And we'll show you as we walk through this, because now we keep about 5 to 6 of these guys on order, on hand at all times. And most of them are going to be loaded up like this air ride trailer we've got sitting behind us here. So before we start walking you through all the options and showing you everything, let's take a look at the drawing, because I'll show you how this trailer is laid out. So this is going to be standard width, 6'10" wide on a 2+1. This one's 24'6" on the floor. We made that front tack room a little bit bigger. And this one here is 7'10" tall. Standard 7'7", but we went with a 7'10" option on this one just because of the, again, most of the customers out there with these bigger horses want that extra height. So let's take a look at this. All aluminum construction from Cimarron. 8-year structure warranty, 3-year hardware warranty, 1 year, no questions asked, warranty on the tires. We'll talk more about them. Let's start up at the nose. One of the very first things you're going to notice is this one here is a V-nose. So instead of the standard tapered nose, we went with the V-nose option here. Like I mentioned, it's 7'10" tall. A little bit taller than even the standard 7'7" out there that Cimarron builds for their Warmblood trailers. This one's 7'10", so a little bit more height on this one. Boy, you pull one of these V-nose air ride trailers and these guys pull like a dream. Even with that extra height on there, they pull extremely well. One of these days, we will actually have 2 of these light trailers sitting here, 7'10" tall, V-nose and the standard taper. We would love to do some testing to really show what this does. We've kind of done some rough testing, anywhere from about maybe 2.5 to 3 miles per gallon better with the V-nose versus the standard tapered. That's substantial if you really stop to think about it when you're going long distances and prices of fuel. But these V-noses, again, they pull extremely well, especially with the air ride option there. But it's 8'2" long, the nose itself, so it's a lot longer than a lot of the competitors out there. They'll run a 7'6", 7'8". But the beauty about it is, now granted we've got it hooked onto this hauler, but most, long bed pickups, even when you drop the tailgate, a lot of those competitors, that tailgate will be almost right up against that jack right there. To where this, you have the capability to walk actually through this even when there is a tailgate down on a long box truck. I love that about that. Now underneath here, like I mentioned, the jack. So this is an equalizer electric over hydraulic system. This also has the manual override, so the override pump on it. This is the system we like to add onto our trailers here after the fact through parts and our service department. If something has a manual crank, we like to go ahead and put this one on here because in emergency situations, you could get it on or off the truck if need be. But boy, is it nice to be able to literally just hit the button. It's got a key in here. I mean, it's that simple. So for instance, I was going to hook this up to this hauler and somebody on the sales team walked by and literally just, hey, come back a couple more inches, and I didn't even put it in park. They just hit the button, dropped it right on there, no problem. When you put a truck in park, if you don't set that parking brake, it has that ability to rock on you. So you might be where you need, and then it just tips for you. But this is so nice. Definitely a nice upgrade on this type of a trailer. This is load up trailer. Why skimp and go with a manual crank? I cranked one yesterday. It was too hot for me to do that yesterday, and was complaining it didn't have a hydraulic jack on it. So with that, you're going to get the battery box. 12-volt battery disconnect as well. So if we step away from this trailer, we can turn that to the off position and kill all power to it. So we've got a lot of lights on right now. If we leave those on, it'll drain that battery down. This one here, so there's a new option that's coming from Cimarron. This one just missed it, but is a red arc charger that's standard on all these Cimarrons moving forward. We will go ahead and install that one here. once we get it through the shop. But that red arc charger is it's a 3-stage charger. I like to tell people it works as a supercharger from your truck. So if your battery might be, you know, at say 60%, 70%, something like that, and you're running this, and you know, we have air ride, and you know, you got lights, and maybe you throw some fans on this, something like that. When you're working on your truck, normally it's just going to work as a trickle charger, but when we're drawing that power off of it, we're never really ever gaining what we really want. So with that red arc system, it will allow that battery to get up and fully charged, giving a lot more longevity, you know, more lifespan from the battery itself. It's also got the capabilities, if the battery does get low, you know, a lot of times we hear customers reach up and hit this switch for their hydraulic jack. That's a big power draw, and a lot of times it'll trip that fuse in the truck. Well, this red arc's gonna allow that, make it to where that's not gonna occur in those type of instances. But again, we will add that red arc to this one when it gets to the shop, but moving forward, you know, the standard Cimarrons will have that red arc on these when you have a hydraulic jack battery type scenario on those. So air ride compressor, it's all self-contained. We opted to put this one here in the battery box. That way it's really, you know, just easily accessible. Everything's really easy to operate on these. On off, lower raise, there's a drain on the bottom. We'll actually go in and put an auto drain on this one as well. But this system's really easy to use. You know, when you're pulling this trailer, just turn the air ride system on and go. We'll talk more about that as we get going, but we've done some how-to videos on how to operate this, how to shut it down properly, in a real condensed version, about, you know, less than 2 minutes. So all that's right there, nice and contained, and also behind that battery box, protecting it from just road blast, those type of items there. Spare tires located up a little bit. That one's a 17.5, so it's a little bit bigger than even the standard 16s. This one here with the extra height, the air ride, we just felt like it looked better, and why not have a little bit heavier duty tire underneath this trailer? And that's what you're going to get with those. But again, we'll circle back around to those here in a few minutes. Okay, front tack room. So I mentioned earlier that the old standard ones that when I started here, was a 4-foot front tack. We've evolved to a lot of ours are a 5-foot. If you want to custom build one, we can make this an 8-foot front tack. We've done some 6s. I mean, you can go about any size you want as far as that's concerned. But this 5-foot is really popular. I mean, think about it, 24.5 foot on the floor. That is not a big trailer to maneuver around. You can get in and out about anywhere, but to have a nice functional front tack room. On the door itself, you're gonna have a brush tray to throw some smaller miscellaneous items. More could be added if you wanted, you know, fly sprays, brushes, hoof picks, anything like that. The fold-up step. You probably missed me looking at that, so I'll back up here a second. So if you look at where I'm standing, this trailer is aired up. So again, we'll talk more about that. But if you look at where I'm standing versus that bottom door frame, that is a huge step. And if you're carrying totes, you're carrying tack, anything like that into this trailer, that is not fun getting in and out of. So by having that fold-up step, it doesn't quite break it in half, but dang close to it. So making this transition into this tack room so much more easy and convenient for you. And then as we work our way into the tack room, we got a lot going on. We'll just start right at the floor. So this is a gray rubber floor. We've been doing this on a ton of trailers. This has actually come over from the livestock show trailer side. This is really popular. This stuff is awesome because it seals the side and it's all one piece in there rather than a rubber mat. And this is me, I'll get on my soapbox here. I do not like carpet on the floor. And the reason why is, look, you're gonna be in and out of this, you're gonna be tracking stuff in. It holds that stain and that odor, I think, over time, to where this here, I mean, this is real easy. You can hose this thing out if you want, mop it, you know, then just wipe it down. But boy, is this stuff really good and has a lot of tread to it, so a lot of grip, but a lot easier to clean than that carpet. It's not going to hold that musty odor that you'll get, especially on the floor. Now we've got carpet incorporated throughout this tack room, but on the floor itself, that's where you're going to get, you know, the foot traffic. This stuff here, you don't notice it until we started doing it on trailers. I started paying attention. You know, whether it's traveling through airports, got little ones, so, you know, take them to an amusement park. You see high traffic areas, stairs, elevators, walkways. You start seeing this stuff a lot. and it holds up extremely well, so it only makes sense. So it's a great feature that we've been doing on a ton of our trailers. We're really excited about it and really happy with it, so that's why we are incorporating it quite a bit in these trailers themselves. Now, as we work in, very first thing right by the door is going to be a 48-gallon Half Moon water tank. So you got water on board right here at the trailer. So whether you're traveling in the summer months, you're at an event, hydrant's a long ways away, you know, you have a horse that only likes water from home, this is a fantastic piece right here because it's real simple. It's gravity feed. You fill at the bottom. You have 2 valves at the bottom. You could put a hose, you know, that's your lowest point there. If you need to put a bucket underneath the upper one, you can. But it comes with a hose. I would do a ball valve on the end of this. You can fill your buckets up right on the outside of the trailer itself. But this is definitely a nice feature to have. Whenever we get into these straight walls like this Warmblood, you know, there's a corner water tank that works really well in slant load trailers, but this Half Moon works on flat walls, 90-degree, you know, corners really well. So that's why we incorporated with this one here. So up on the deck, looking up at the nose, there's a good look at that V-nose we were talking about. Because of the depth of the 8.2 long nose, but then also Cimarron doesn't go to a very abrupt point on their V-noses that a lot of other competitors do, which then tightens everything up and you lose some storage. You know, that radius piece right there is really nice and gives you a lot of space. Look, if I needed to throw a bedroll or a mattress up there, you know, it'd have to be a custom mattress, but, you know, bedroll, sleeping bag, you know, I could easily sleep in there. To be honest, with the depth, there's enough room. If you like the person you're traveling with, you could. 2 of you could sleep in there overnight if need be. You have windows up there so you can see out and create a cross breeze. But as you can see, you have a ton of headroom because of the extra height on this trailer. There's an LED light up on the left. There's one above the door too. Those are the OptiBrite lights, so put out a lot of light. Not a big power draw, being LED as well. Clothes bar on the left side of this neck up here, so you can hang clothes up there. Because of the extra height, you know, you have plenty of clearance to hang those clothes up there and not actually have them sitting on the deck itself. But, you know, if you're showing off of this, you're traveling, you're not having to take up space in the back of your pickup, keeping everything nice and organized, that's a nice piece there. So again, carpet on the deck, carpet on the drop wall, and then you have a boot box. This is a 12-inch boot box that goes across here. This guy here is carpeted as well. He works as a great bench. You know, if you need to hop up and in the nose, you can, but throw some smaller items in there so they don't bounce around. Definitely nice to have. Okay, behind me, turn around here, is a recessed post, so it's built as an actual post on the wall itself, an upright. But this is built with these blanket bars with this actual track built in there. So we have 3 blanket bars up top and then 3 saddle racks. These guys here can all be adjusted. You can change the sequencing if you want. You just loosen everything up. There's the ability to slide it out from the top if you wanted to rearrange, but space them's really easy. Again, just loosen it, slide it where you want, tighten it back up, and you're in business. On the whole partition wall, it's carpeted because we've got our bridle hooks. So these are aluminum powder coated, so these are really strong. Cimarron's designs these. I like the spacing between them, but I really like the height and the depth off the wall. You know, a lot of old ones, boy, you walk into people's tack rooms, especially when we look at trades and you see, you know, you see reins and lead ropes, everything hanging off, or stuff has fallen off because you pile so much stuff on there because there's just these little hooks and not a lot of spacing. With these here, Cimarron's designed these, you know, with that in mind, so you can hang a lot of tack on there. But that carpet, you know, it's not on bare aluminum where we have, you know, maybe some bits actually rubbing as you're driving against the actual aluminum, scuffing that up, you know, potentially doing some harm to your tack there. It also deadens the noise too. You know, we have horses on the other side, so we don't have that sound by having that carpet there. And then you have a pass-through door that actually goes into the stall itself. So again, maybe you're at an event, you know, you need to tack up, it's downpouring rain, something like that. You can actually throw your horse in your box stall, come right in here, you can come change, but it's nice to be able to work between the actual tack room and the stall area, and you've got that right here. So that about covers it here in the tack room. Again, with a 5-foot front tack, as you can see, this is very well equipped. Nothing's too tight. I mean, you can still function. You try to do this in a 4-foot and it's just not going to work. Everything's going to be too close together and not really function for you. Okay, with your 2+1, with your front box stall, you're going to get your side ramp and then your door up above it. This one here we opted, there's 2 different versions. There's the Dutch door that swings to the side of the trailer. This one here we opted for the door that actually folds up. It's on a gas shock. You'll actually shut it first and then your ramp over it. But this one here, it just kind of gets up and out of the way for you, and then your side ramp, so you can walk on or off this trailer. A lot of customers like to walk on, walk off this trailer, and that's the ideal setup with this side ramp. They do a really good job with their springs on here. As you see, as I got it kind of up, it actually wanted to suck towards the trailer itself. So really functional side ramp there. Now, we do have this trailer aired up right now, so let's talk a little bit about that. So this trailer is picked up about 2.5 to 3 inches when we air it up. Now that also makes that side ramp steeper and then our rear ramp steeper when we're working off this trailer. So anytime you're actually loading horses, unloading horses, maybe you're loading tack, those type of items there, I tell customers, make sure it's aired down, because it'll actually drop it that 2.5 to 3 inches, and it'll also change the angle of these ramps too. It won't make them as steep, you know, because we've actually lowered it. So keep that in mind whenever you're operating off the trailer. So again, as you can see right there, we have it aired up. So let's talk more about that air ride system. So these are 2 7,000-pound axles. This is a Dexter Airflex system. So I showed you the compressor. Here's what we're working with as far as this is concerned. Old air ride systems, if you lost air, whether it's compressor, a line, a bag, it would set down and you couldn't move the trailer. With this actually has rubber torsion axles, has a shock kit, so this trailer will actually sit down. If you need to move it, you can. We always recommend, as long as the system's working properly, run it with the air ride on itself. But in those type of situations, you're not going to be stuck. You can still get this trailer where you need to, and then you can get it addressed there. Electric brakes, and then we upgraded to the 17.5-inch wheels, like I mentioned. And this has some Cooper tires on it. These guys here are a load range, I want to say these are an 18 ply. I will confirm that. They're either a 16 or an 18 ply, but I feel like we've been putting yes, these are an 18 ply. They're a J rated tire. So 18 ply tire, 17.5-inch wheels. You also have that 1 year, no questions asked warranty on these tires. So you catch road debris, you catch a nail, you have a blowout, no questions asked from the date you purchased it. You have 1 year, they will replace that tire. Now we'll need some information from that tire, so don't just up and dispose it, not gonna get us any information or pictures. But that's through Lion's Head, not through Cimarron. That's the vendor they use for wheels and tires there. So now let's get back to that air ride. We understand it's an upgrade and there's added cost to it, but listen, the amount of money that we're putting on this trailer between the horses, your tack, you know, traveling, expenses away from home, you know, the big thing is those expenses away from home, and then again, just the cost of the animals and going to compete. We wanted them to compete at the highest level. So air ride makes such a big difference and such a game changer for the actual ride of the trailer, and then for your horses mainly. So Dexter did testing. Behind the axles is the worst part of a ride on a trailer. The best example I can give you is a school bus. I always loved to sit at the back of a school bus when I was little, because railroad tracks, bumps, those type of things, it would launch you. I mean, it would just, you'd hit them and you knew it was coming, and it was a lot of fun. Well, your horses don't think that's very fun. So Dexter did testing. 52% of the road shock behind the axles was eliminated by having air ride suspension. So a lot of customers also tell us that they can cut off a day of recovery on longer trips because the horses step off the trailer fresher. That's one less day from being home. That's more expense on the road. So now you start offsetting the cost of the actual air ride itself, you know, by taking some of those things off. But ultimately, we want our horses to have a good ride, be safe, and compete at the highest level. Air ride has become so popular. We do this on so many of them. Like I mentioned, we had one. That one did not have air ride. Of the 5 to 6 that we have on order on hand at all times, everything has air ride probably but one. So We just like to have that option for some customers, but that's how popular it is, and it has been such a good seller for us by having that air ride. Once you pull an air ride trailer, you're not going to go back, and that is a very common response we get from customers. All right, start at the top rail. We have a 16-inch awning light there. We've got another one on the other side of the trailer. Give you some light coverage on the exterior of the trailer as well. You're gonna have a drop down feed door with jail bars where the horse's head's gonna be in the straight load. If you need to drop these guys, you can. There's a track built in there for them. Nice big heavy duty frame doors. This is all framework around these guys. So these guys are really stout. It's not a prefab door by any means. We're going to be opening and closing these about every time we use this trailer. We need them to hold up. And then you're going to get welded hinges with grease zerks on these as well. So easier to maintain. Get a squeaky hinge instead of having to just heat it up and try to force lubricant in there. We can actually put grease to it. There's a brass rod that runs in the middle, and it's got a groove cut into it, almost like a candy cane type swirl. So when you open and close it, it's wanting to actually feed that grease throughout it, so it's easier to maintain for you. Big bus window over the hip of the horse. I'll get this Dutch door out of the way, but you know, that is a big window. Only half of a bus window open, so let's maximize some airflow. So you got that there with the larger bus window. And then you have your Dutch doors. As you can see, they wrap around. So the wraparound style hinge lock into place. You can actually lock that with a key, but you can run with that open down the road if you'd like. Window in it too, so if you have them shut up at the back, you know, windows at the back, air wants to find a place to go. So when we incorporate like these drop windows, vents I'll show you, that air as it's traveling over the horses, if those are closed, it's just gonna kind of stall out. To where if you open those windows, it creates that vacuum and just kind of allows that airflow to go through. Good example of that is when you're in your vehicle, you roll down one window on one side, you know, you get a little bit of air movement, but boy, if you drop the other side across from it, you get an airflow through there. That, again, that air's trying to escape. So at the back, as you can see, there's our ramp at the rear. And again, those Dutch doors go over it. So you'll shut your rear ramp and then your Dutch doors over to the top of it. They're independent, so they can shut one or the other. You see on the top rail, 2 8-inch awning lights, very similar to that 16 we showed you on the side. So again, a lot of light coverage on the exterior as well of this trailer. And then I'd like you to pay attention to that piece at the very top there. So that is a rear spoiler. So this is something that we do on a lot of our trailers here at Transwest, and there's a reason for it. If you live down dirt roads, travel down dirt roads, you'll understand this. The back of your pickup, your passenger vehicle, whatever it is, your trailer, when you travel down those, air swirls at the back of them, whether it's the vehicle or a trailer. And you can go to a back bumper, a tailgate, back of a trailer, and you can just run your finger across and get all kinds of dust. Well, if that's swirling and we have windows open, it's wanting to suck that dust into the trailer itself if it's not really sealed up, because then we have horses breathing that, and that's not what we want from a respiratory standpoint. But what that spoiler does is it grabs that air and it shoots it down the trailer and forces it away. So our GM actually has a snowmobile trailer with that, and we're gonna get him one of these years to, when he goes up, to get a picture of the back of his trailer, his Cimarron with a spoiler, and then these other trailers that have been traveling through, you know, bad roads and snow, and their trailers are covered with that at the back, and his is barely you notice anything. It really does force that air away and force everything away from the trailer. So that does have a purpose up there, that spoiler does. You'll see that on quite a few of our trailers. The other thing, this is now standard on 25 models. So there's a lot of items that we would always put on our trailers, and then eventually it just gradually turned into a standard option. We were actually doing a standard backup light. Now this is a newer style that actually has the backup light built in to these tail lights. And then you have 4 of them. So when you put your truck in reverse, your truck's a long ways away, so you're not getting that light coverage, and you're getting into unfamiliar places in the dark to back up. It's nice to see. So those guys will actually turn on. We did some testing in our wash bay with the standard single light. We had a really good light condensed in one area. But with this trailer here and this new option, we had a lot more consistent light coverage over a larger area. And that's because of that. So this is an awesome feature. Now moving forward on the 25s, you got that built in there. All right, let's move into the stall area. You got your butt bars with pads, chest bars with pads, divider, it's padded. As you can see, airflow up top, so you got your jail bars. This is a solid divider, so you have stud below, so it's nice and solid. We don't have to worry about anybody stepping on each other, anything like that. But the reason why it's also built this way is I'm going to show you. This trailer has a lot of versatility to it. Maybe you need to haul, mirror and fold. Maybe you need multiple. Maybe you want some box stalls. Maybe you want to haul other items. Maybe you want to travel with the golf cart, put it in front, and then load your horses. Well, then you have to figure out what to do with the divider. This here is a moving divider. This is fantastic. We actually took this concept, again, from the show livestock world of their traveling center gates. We just turned it sideways because theirs go the length of the trailer. This one here, we need to go side to side. But I can unbolt it from the floor, the ceiling, slides over out of the way. And then if I need to leave it there, I've got locations to actually pin it into the floor and the ceiling. And now we've got two box stalls because we have our box stall up front. Now we have a box stall here. Maybe you need to run that golf cart in. I can actually remove this post as well, put it in, reinstall it, shut those doors. But man, this is such a cool concept. It's on this track that runs off the actual ceiling itself. So we don't have to have multiple people, okay, you grab that in, I'll grab this in, let's unpin there, just the awkwardness of some of those. This guy here, as you saw how simple it was to just slide it, because it's got those rollers and it's on that track. Again, on the show cattle trailers, it was turned sideways because we have the gate that goes across the trailer. This one here, we just, again, flipped the concept of it so it slides against the wall. But we also needed it to be one kind of solid piece, so that's why this divider is built that way. But boy, it's sure nice to be able to have that lower portion solid, again, just to protect everybody, so you don't have to worry about somebody stepping on the other horse when you're traveling. So again, nice to be able to just open all this up. If we go to the roof itself, couple things you're going to notice. We got some two-way roof vents. We got two right above the horse's head in this back two stalls. Then we've got a couple up in the front box stall area as well. So manipulate airflow, get some airflow moving on these guys. But then also pay attention to that roof. That is standard on every single Cimarron. It doesn't matter what the model is. It's really strong. So it's an insulated roof. It's a 1/2 inch thick. It's reinforced. It's a honeycomb design. So that's where it gets a lot of its strength. It can take 150 pounds per square foot. So wherever I'm walking, I'm not going to dent this. I couldn't attempt that on a lot of aluminum trailers. I have to find these bows on where to actually step. It'll take substantial hail. We're in that time of the year here in Colorado. The other thing, and the most important thing in my opinion, is what it does for stall area temperature. It keeps it 20% cooler than aluminum sheeted roofs. That is a big difference. Come to this lot on a summer day, 95, 100 degrees on this asphalt. Take you to one trailer sealed up, aluminum roof, and I'll take you to a Cimarron, and you will physically tell a difference. So a lot of airflow, insulated roof. Let's keep these horses nice and comfortable, and that definitely has that capability. In each stall right here, you've got your D-rings. There's a couple feed bags that were up in the nose there, so you actually have some feed bags that come with it. They just clip on, and then there's a couple on the divider that they'll go ahead and attach to as well. So you can actually drop those jail bars at those feed doors, maybe toss some extra feed in for the horses as you're traveling, anything like that. Then, with your box stall, you've actually got a couple stud gates here with jail bars. So again, just keeping everybody nice and protected, nice and functional. So whether you're on either side of this trailer you're walking a horse on, again, you can have these opened up and actually pinned against the wall because they lock in up high with an AR latch up there. So you can walk in, get your horses loaded, you know, your chest bar, you can duck underneath if you want, get them tied up, step right out here and shut these, and you can walk right off. Actually, you've got multiple access points that we'll show you here in a minute, but again, this is your walk on, walk off type scenario. We actually put a little bit more length in this box stall so we can allow this door never interferes with this side ramp opening. That is not what we want to do. So it's really easy to walk these horses off this trailer and not have to worry about that door getting in the way. You have a strap that goes across here because it's a large opening, so it works as, you know, a butt strap itself. You got your kick mats all the way around. They even did it right up here on this partition wall and the passenger door itself. Got an access door here on the side. I'll show you a little bit more about that when we get to the outside. Chest bar that goes across there. And then we put some tie rings up here in this stall as well. So if you wanted to actually put a horse in here and tie him up, you can do that. And one other really popular option we can do after the fact is cameras. Some customers like a backup camera and then a stall camera. We like to put it kind of about right here so you can look right at the horses, give you a good view there, but definitely a nice feature to have, and we can do that after the fact here at Transwest. So, but again, a lot of versatility on the trailer itself because of this moving divider and a 2+1. That's just the way they're built. Now, last piece before we leave is going to be the floor. So instead of rubber mats on this one that you have to pull out, this one here is Werm flooring. So it's a permanent, unpenetrable rubber mat. So we don't have to worry about urine getting down to the actual aluminum itself. You don't have to pull mats. And because of the way this trailer is set up, where we have moving, you know, removable post, moving divider, these pads in the floor to lock those in, with a rubber mat, you'd have to cut around all those. And believe me, you're never going to get it to fit how it originally comes. So this is the only way to go, in my opinion, on these type of setups. The Werm is fantastic because it really protects the integrity of the floor, you know, over the life of it. We don't have to worry about that urine getting down there and corroding that aluminum. And again, nobody wants to pull mats and yank them out. So this one's really simple. You nose this trailer up, muck out your solids, come in through the escape door or the side ramp with a power washer and power wash it out. It's that simple. So a really cool setup in the stall area. As you can see, this is why this trailer is so popular. Driver's side, again, Dutch door, it swings around. 16-inch awning light. You got your drop-down feed door as well. And then again, you have that access door that I showed you from the inside there. So you have multiple access points into the stall area, whether it's the side ramp or this escape door right here. So it does have 2 points to lock. So it actually has a door handle, and then we've got the butterfly that goes over it. So if we do have a horse in there and messing with it, we don't want them to get out. So that's why this piece is on here. Everything's keyed alike though, so I can lock these, tack door, feed doors, feed door on the escape door as well. So same thing, if we have a horse right here, get some airflow to them, or if you want to just collect more airflow and push it into the horses, you can. Same concept with the jail bars. It can be locked. It's a little bit smaller drop window as far as the feed door itself, just because it has to fit within the actual door frame. And then again, a fold-up step going into that area. So we never really have to make that big step up into this trailer. All right, so I'm going to give you the stock number on this guy. Now, this trailer is available after a little while, but right now it's going to go be a demo for our GM. He's getting one brought back in. Unfortunately, it's already sold as well, but we do have others like this on order. We can build you one. Stock number on this guy is 5N240233. Again, it's a 2025 Norstar Warmblood 2+1 air ride. But again, we've got a lot of these trailers, you know, again, on order. I believe we have another one done at the factory that'll be here in a couple days. So a lot more on order. We've got some options for you. If you have a little bit of time, we can custom build you whatever you want as well. But give us a call. Anybody on our sales team can help you out. We do take trade-ins, so if you're looking to upgrade, downsize, we can help you there. Financing is available, and delivery is an option, so we could potentially bring these directly to your door. So that number is 303-684-3400. Appreciate you tuning in. Have a good day.